Okay, in this video we're going to be building the mechanics for our departure zone. And the first thing I'll say about this is direction does matter. So in this case we want all our track to be in a north-south direction. It doesn't matter if it's facing north or south, but east to west will not work. So a quick way to find out which direction you're facing is if you look up, the direction the clouds are moving in is always north to south, or I'm sorry, south to north, heading towards the north. So in this case, that way is north, this way is south, and so we want to build our departure zone in this direction. So if you don't want to deal with this, I will try to show you a kind of a quick alternative method at the end of the video, but we can kind of do things with this method that you can't really do much of any other way. So what I've got here is just a little platform that will act as a base for our mechanics, and you can see at the end I've got like a little 3-block gap, and yours doesn't have to be exactly like this, but this should work for our setup. So the first thing I'll do is come down here and start kind of building a ramp, sort of like a Pez dispenser, but basically we want a ramp that's like that. It's got 3 blocks along the top and has enough room for 3 track pieces in our little pit down here. And we also want at least one space. We'll lay some track here, and we want at least one space between our track, kind of a space of air, and then our top part of our ramp up there. So from here, we can go ahead and start laying some track. Now this is going to be what I'll call our bumper cart that will kind of push our traveling cart down to give it initial momentum, so our powered rails will work. So to get this set up, we can place 1 powered rail in the back here, followed by 2 just regular rails. Extend a 3rd rail up onto the top, and we will later destroy this rail, and then follow that up with some powered rail to give our traveling cart momentum. After that, we can come up here and lay our powered rails along the top here, and this is certainly not the most efficient way. I'm sure if you're saving on materials, you can kind of play with this and find a more efficient setup. And then I'll extend some normal rails that we'll kind of utilize later in the series. So after this, we want to kind of have another block that will stop our incoming cart. So much like a Pez dispenser, we'll have an empty cart coming up here. It'll hit this block. Rather than kind of curving out, arcing down onto our track somewhere here, it will just fall straight down. So we can just extend 2 blocks off the end, place another block on top, and then destroy those 2 blocks. So now we have kind of a floating block like that. So from here we can start getting our redstone wired up. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here, destroy that 3rd regular track piece that was right at the tip of our ramp, and replace it with a stone pressure plate, just like this. So that's kind of what our setup looks like for now. So that is kind of the final setup here. So after that, we can start powering our tracks. Our outgoing track is always going to need a constant supply of power, so I can just dig 1 block directly underneath it and stick a torch down there. And that will just give us constant power to those track pieces. And then we can just close it back up like that. Then we'll also want our track going up our ramp to have constant power. So same thing, I can dig down 1 block below it, just like this, stick in a torch, now we've got power, and fill up the little hole I created. So there we go. Now we need our stone button to be wired to this track piece right here. And you could do it rather simply with, you know, if we just run redstone wire directly from the button over to our track piece. That would certainly work, but if you're trying to hide the wiring, you can kind of come underneath, you know, dig out a trench like I have here, and we can place some wiring underneath. So this block right here is directly underneath our stone pressure plate, and so I can run off some redstone right under our block down here. And then, let's see, this block right here should be directly under our powered rail. And so I can drop a block there and stick a torch on it. Now, since that torch is lit, that means our powered rail is always going to be lit, and we only want it coming on when our stone pressure plate is pushed. So what we can do is invert the signal from our stone pressure plate just by sticking in a torch like I have here. So now this torch will be giving power when the stone pressure plate is not pushed. And then we can run that power into this torch, which will turn out this torch. So basically what we've done is invert the signal and then invert it a second time so we get the same state our button presses. Now we can come up here and test it. You can see whenever I step on the stone pressure plate, it turns on that track piece right there. So that is pretty much it. Now we can drop in some carts and kind of test it out. So we can drop in a cart right here, and that'll be our bumper cart, like I say. And then when we have a fresh cart come in, say from our Pez dispenser, it will come up, land there, and sit on the stone pressure plate. Now when I jump in, that cart will come out and bump me, and then off I go down the track like that. So this is one of the only methods I know of doing this. If anyone else has a alternate way of doing it, please let me know. But most of the methods are going to kind of rely on sort of this bumper method right here. Now, if we're trying to kind of clean this up a little bit and sort of hide things, we can do what I've done in my other station, and we can actually place a block right here to kind of hide this bumper cart. And because of kind of a quirk of Minecraft, that cart will sort of be able to pass through that block regardless of, you know, it looks like it would be stopping it, but it actually passes right through. And then in my other station, I sort of have a wall here kind of covering things up. But if you care about that, you know, there are a lot of things you can do to kind of clean things up a bit. But that is basically the mechanics of the departure zone. Now, as I said, there is kind of an alternate method. Instead of all that, if we just want a simpler one where you press a button to launch out of your station, really the only thing you need to do is lay some track like this. You know, have a block at the end here, and then we can just drop in a stone button adjacent to the track, just like that. And then so when I jump in, you know, I'm not going anywhere currently, but as soon as I press this button, it'll provide power to the rails and shoot me off down the track. So if you don't want to deal with something that's in a north-south direction, or you just wanted something simpler or like a button, you could replace all of this, just have a block here with a button you know, coming in over here. Let's see, it need to be, you know, plop a button right there, and that would certainly work. I just like the convenience of not having to press buttons. So that is it for the departure zone. In the next video, we will be building our Pez dispenser that will feed into our departure zone here, and so stay tuned for that.